On today's lineup, we're taking a look at insurance challenges after natural disasters, how an idea to create a new program to make sure everyone can get help would work. And from mattresses to cars, we're getting longer and longer options for loans, what you need to be aware of with these offers, and an idea to make the school day for some kids go until 6 p.m. to work better with their parents' schedules. We're looking into that plan.
Thank you, Annie. I'm Amanda Starantino, and this is the Now Indy. Only on RTV6, we are showing you a new effort to find missing and abducted children. IMPD is set to become the first agency in the state to create a team that will focus on the critical minutes and hours to reconnect a child with their family. It's called the Child Abduction Response Team, a regional team of experts to respond when a child is abducted. CART allows additional detectives, manpower, and equipment to be brought to the front lines of an investigation, enlisting the help of FEMA Task Force search dogs, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and air support. The team will bring together 25 agencies when a child is reported missing. IMPD Sergeant Paul Scott received the Medal of Merit Award for the work he has done to create a CART team here in Indiana. He says this team will pool resources and allow a quick response in the first critical hours after a child goes missing.
Our department is mandated within an hour's response. So if we get, or if that agency gets a notification and we can get there within an hour, we gather so much information in that 2 or 3 hour period that it can really be a successful outcome.
Training for IMPD is scheduled in January. They will also have to do a field exercise after that. IMPD will be one of just over 20 agencies in the country to be CART certified. Kyle.
Some of us started off the day with some showers around, but now we're getting in a little bit of sunshine as it gets ready to set. Nice view there of the sun setting in Greencastle tonight, but the cold has arrived now. Temperatures are running 10 to even 20 degrees colder than this time yesterday, and that is sending those numbers into the 30s. 35 degrees right now in the Circle City. It's 33-40 in Kokomo and 36 in Bloomington. A little bit of a northwest breeze, though. It does feel even colder than that. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. Everything is dry. In fact, you can see that clearing line making its way pretty quickly toward Bedford and Seymour, so you will see some clearing skies pretty quick this evening, and that means those temperatures are going to drop back into the 20s already by 8 o'clock. But with that northwest breeze, look for wind chills to dip into the teens here. 26 the temperature by 10 o'clock, and overnight tonight we're into the teens and lower 20s all across the area. So it is going to be a very cold start to the day. We do have a little bit of a warm up though in time for the weekend. We'll talk about that. Also some snow chances and yet another blast of cold air as this winter pattern continues here in the month of November. Annie.
Let's start the Now News feed. Census workers are going to be getting a pay raise. The Census Bureau says it's having problems finding enough workers to conduct the survey. The Bureau also says it will work to make the background check process more efficient. Well, New York could be the latest state to hear a case against opioid manufacturers. A judge there setting a January trial date for cases brought by the state attorney general along with 2 counties. Purdue Pharma won't be a part of these cases as it works to settle more than 2,700 lawsuits. Well, do you remember this New Jersey man? He was caught on tape trying to fake an accident at work. Well, he's been sentenced to 2 years probation for this staged slip and fall. The 58-year-old will also have to perform community service. Well, there's a major disparity in deaths from preventable disease. People living in rural areas are dying faster than people in more populated areas. The CDC finding almost 30% of cancer deaths in the most rural counties are preventable. Now, lung cancer is among those, and the CDC suggests increasing access to proven lung cancer reducing programs in rural areas where people are more likely to not have insurance. Well, one campaign in particular is reaching them.
Here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early.
The American Lung Association's new campaign encourages people to take a quiz to see if they qualify for a scan that can detect the early stages of lung cancer. A commercial for Saved by the Scan prompted Millie Wilson to get the test, and it came back positive for stage 1 lung cancer.
Despite my mother passing away of lung cancer and my brother passing away of lung cancer, because theirs was discovered too late, that was 20 years ago, before the scan was even available, that I was offered the opportunity to live a long, healthy life.
Lung cancer kills more people than breast, colon, and prostate cancers combined. 422 people die every day. The majority get diagnosed in stage 4 because symptoms are often not there.
If everybody who qualified for lung screening got those scans done, it would result in about 48,000 lives saved per year.
Well, go to savedbythescan.org to take the quiz to see if you're at risk. Those who qualify are typically 55 and older. Back to our lineup. 6 years to pay off a mattress or car. That may seem like a long time, but it's part of a new trend of longer loans. But is this the best move for your money? Ahead, what you need to be aware of.
Keller and Keller.
Anyone who has gotten engaged or is about to knows a diamond ring can cost tens of thousands of dollars and put couples deep into debt right off the bat. That's why many of today's younger couples are ditching the diamond. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows us the cheaper options so you don't waste your money.
Today's younger couples are rebelling against many long-time wedding traditions. Example, the groom not being allowed to see his bride on the morning of the wedding. Another, buying the largest diamond you can afford. Marilyn Monroe used to sing that diamonds were a girl's best friend, but times are changing.
We realized that we were going into the marriage with student loan debt and medical debt, and the typical 3-month salary wasn't going to work for us to pay for a diamond.
Sarah Bray and her husband decided early on they were not going to go into debt over her engagement band. So this young bride decided to ditch the diamond for a pink-toned gemstone called a morganite diamond.
Oh, a morganite is a processed stone that is not, doesn't have any of the ethical choices that come along with a diamond.
Her roughly 1 carat morganite cost a third of a traditional diamond. But the best part, she says, other women compliment it all the time. So what do other women tell you when they see this?
I get a lot of compliments on it.
Alternate stones have been around for generations, but many couples avoided them, thinking it made them look cheap. But then celebrities happened. From Kate Middleton's sapphire to Halle Berry's emerald, alternative gems are red hot. Store manager Eric Fair says there's no longer a stigma if you ask for a non-diamond.
We always say that whatever your budget is, we can find something for you.
In addition to morganite, Fair is selling a lot of aquamarine engagement stones.
This is the aquamarine.
With a light blue hue. Cost of a 1 carat aquamarine?
So a whole ring like this, you're looking at under $2,500.
Other alternative engagement stones, he says.
The ruby and sapphire.
Meantime, Fair says millennial brides who want a shiny diamond are now buying lab-grown diamonds, less than half the price of a mined one.
This took 2 weeks to create. This took about 1 billion years to create.
Can the average couple tell the difference between lab-grown and natural?
No. And you need testing to actually tell the difference.
He says top alternative stones include lab-grown diamonds, morganite, aquamarine, tourmaline, sapphire, and ruby. Sarah Bray is proud of her choice of an alternative stone.
It's important to go into a marriage without any debt.
So if you're thinking of marriage, feel free to turn old traditions upside down. You'll come off as creative and artistic, and that way you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
There's a new move to help improve people's credit. For example, people who make a living in the salon and have to have a professional license. Well, that license could help boost their credit score. So it's all a part of Experian's new Lift program. It will take into consideration professional licenses, rent payments, and other payments they make regularly. Experian predicts it will improve access to credit for more than 40 million people. It will be available to lenders early next year. Now, a higher credit score could help you qualify for better interest rates on credit cards and loans, but beware of falling into a cycle.
Because sometimes it's really tempting to say, well, of course, I'll get a raise or I'll cut back somewhere else and I'll have money tomorrow. But I feel like a lot of the lending industry is predicated on, I don't have the money today, but I'm going to have it tomorrow.
Ted Rossman with creditcards.com is talking about the trend of more industries offering longer loans. And we're talking about mattresses and furniture companies doing financing for 6 years. A third of all new car loans are now longer than 6 years. And a lot of car loans get rolled into the next car loan. So people end up paying for an old and new car at the same time. So there's a similar risk even with long-term 0% financing offers popular with mattresses and furniture. People often have to spend more to qualify and then buy more than they can actually afford. So if you miss a payment, the interest rate typically skyrockets and you could end up in a stressful paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle.
I just think there's a risk to too much of this get it now and pay for it later, because sometimes those best intentions don't play out as you think, and then you're either stuck with an asset that isn't really working to your liking and you're still paying for it.
Experts say the best rule of thumb, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Also, if you're able to offer cash, you're actually more likely to get a discount. Ahead in our lineup, from hurricanes to wildfires, natural disasters can make it hard to get insurance coverage. We're looking into the idea to create a new program to make sure everyone is covered, but how we all would have to pick up the cost.
Only on RTV6 News.
Turning to the Now newsfeed, efforts to keep your home clean could actually be working against you. A new study says cleaning may open the door to certain types of fungi. Basically, you scrub away bacteria that may actually be helpful, and that leaves more room for the fungi. Well, the need for boomers to work longer is now affecting millennials and Gen Xers. Younger age groups are finding it more difficult to move up in companies as a result. Experts say this affects the ability for businesses to hold on to good young talent. More than a month after a video went viral, this woman seen taunting a lion at the Bronx Zoo has been arrested. Maya Autry faces 2 counts of criminal trespassing. She turned herself into authorities last night. Now, she also allegedly went into the giraffe area, too. The holidays are the Super Bowl for toy makers, spending big bucks in advertising, and sometimes in places you might not realize. Bloomberg reports it reviewed records that indicate Amazon sells sponsorships for its holiday toy lists. As much as $20 million was paid for this year's list. That's according to the documents Bloomberg obtained. Now, consumer advocacy group Public Citizen thinks consumers deserve more disclosure and plans to ask the Federal Trade Commission to investigate.
Why should consumers care? Well, the reason they should care is they go and think they're getting a curated list that reflects the best judgment by Amazon of the toys of the year. In fact, that list is wholly or partially a reflection of what companies are paying to get on that list.
Amazon responded to the report in part by saying it sources holiday toy list product ideas from many places, including their selling partners who have an opportunity to nominate their best toys for the season. Amazon did not indicate if it charges for nominations or increased visibility. But Amazon isn't alone on this. Walmart has a top-rated toy list and a buyer's pick section on its website. Walmart told us suppliers cannot pay for items to be included on the top-rated by Kids list. Bloomberg reports that Walmart also charges $10,000 a month for a product to appear in buyer picks.
It's the kind of thing that everybody in the industry knows about, but nobody was going to be a whistleblower. Nobody was going to show proof.
Well, the CEO of the website Toys, Tots, Pets, and More says this has been a long-time practice within the toy business. The site produces independent video reviews of more than 2,500 toys a year.
If you see something on a hot toy list, that should be a starting point. At that point, you should go research the item, whether it be a toy, a baby product, or no matter what type of item it is. That should be the start of your research, not the end of your research.
Both Silver and Public Citizen would like to see some language on paid holiday lists that say sponsored or ad, similar to what you see on social media and YouTube.
Santa's coming, and he's not arriving the old-fashioned way. He's coming by chopper. The Indiana State Museum is getting everything ready for his arrival. Celebration Crossing kicks off the holiday season at the museum each year with the big Santa visit, music, and rides on the Santa Claus Express train. Everything starts Black Friday, November 29th. That's when the Ellis Ayres Tea Room opens, and the Indianapolis Children's Choir will perform in the Great Hall, with Santa arriving by helicopter at noon.
Well, it's starting to feel a little more like Christmas around here, but no snow so far. We may change that up, though, over the next few days. Right now, looking north out of downtown and seeing a good dose of some sunshine, but of course, that sun is quickly slipping away for us this evening. That northwest breeze behind the cold front is bringing in that colder air. Winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour right now, so that's taking temperatures in the 30s and sending wind chills in many areas into the 20s. Feels like 26 right now in Indianapolis. 28-year wind chill in Muncie, and it feels like 27 degrees in Lafayette. Tonight, the actual temperature will dip down to 22 degrees as those skies continue to clear out, but the wind will relax a little bit, so not as much of a wind chill first thing in the morning. There are the clear skies on TrueCast. We go through our Friday. We'll see some passing clouds, but no precipitation from those, so it will be a dry end to the work and school week here with partly sunny skies. Temperatures, though, just not going to recover. We're talking about numbers 20 to 25 degrees below average for this time of year. Only making it into the middle 30s tomorrow, so you're going to need that coat all day long. 34 in Greenwood, 34 in Lafayette, and 36 in Columbus. All right, so it warms up a little bit and stays quiet over the weekend. So let's fast forward into next week, and there's a weather system we're going to be keeping our eye on Monday. Veterans Day, possibly some light snow with that one, and then some brutally cold temperatures, even colder than what we're experiencing now, going to be following that. Over the next few days of the forecast, there's that 34 tomorrow and then 44 on Saturday, even the 50s Sunday, but there's that chance for some snow on Monday. 37, and lows will be in the teens by Tuesday morning. Annie.
It was massive, and it killed 85 people. Tomorrow marks a year since the Camp Fire near Paradise, California started. Well, the U.S. saw 14 separate billion-dollar disasters last year. And when it happens over and over in the same spots, some question whether insurance should repeatedly pay to rebuild in disaster zones. As Maya Rodriguez shows us, there's one plan that might help, but we could all have to pay.
Mississippi River nears its end.
It's a different kind of place.
Sits a city that nearly faced its own end. Nearly 15 years after Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans remains a city where the past never strays too far from the present. The storm still felt by every homeowner here on their insurance bills.
And that certainly was a hard sell for those folks.
After the storm, insurance companies no longer wanted to offer homeowners insurance in parts of Louisiana that were vulnerable to hurricanes. They thought it was a money loser. So the state created Citizens Insurance. Initially controversial, it was funded by all the property owners in the state, including people who didn't live anywhere near the damaged areas.
The policyholders are contributing fees, as well as the companies writing business contribute fees.
Just fell in love with it. Fell in love with the people, the things, the atmosphere.
Jose LaFleur's coastal home is on Citizens Insurance. It's been hit by hurricanes twice. First Katrina, and then Gustav 3 years later.
Knocked our walls down, everything down.
Despite the repeated rebuilding and the cost of Citizens to others, he wouldn't dream of giving it up.
It's home to us. We love it. We love everything about it.
That's going to start adding up. Who foots the bill at the end of the day? You do, I do, everybody else does.
Robert Allen teaches risk management at Tulane University. He says as some insurance companies pull back from coverage in areas across the country, taxpayers will need to figure out if they want to keep footing the rebuilding bill.
And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to money. I mean, how much money is being put into that? And at what point, again, do you decide this is enough?
Allen says one idea that's been floated, create a federal natural disaster insurance program, similar to the National Flood Insurance Program. Taxpayers would be on the hook for keeping it solvent.
There was talk, or there is some kind of undertones about doing that with all hazards threats, like doing that with the fires and just underwriting some of this stuff.
But do taxpayers even want to? Private insurance companies are already grappling with it.
It is becoming a bigger and bigger burden and challenge for the private sector.
It's a challenge taxpayers will have to confront if they choose to rebuild areas hit over and over again by nature's fury. In New Orleans, I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Maya, thank you. Well, turning to the Now news feed, 2 former Twitter employees are now facing spying charges. Federal investigators say the pair targeted people who made comments critical of Saudi Arabia. They would access private information and share it with Saudi Arabia. Well, we are now a year out from the 2020 presidential election. Now, despite it being that far away, it's already proving to be a point of serious stress for Americans. The American Psychological Association says 56% of adults say it's a cause for concern. Well, there's a joint effort between the U.S. and China, and it leads to a big fentanyl crackdown. A court in China handing down sentences to 9 traffickers, one of which was sentenced to death. The 9 were part of a drug ring. Next in the lineup, there's a new proposal to make the school day last until 6 p.m. to work better with parent schedules. We're going to be looking into that plan.